still spins freely. And that one still spins freely too. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and we're getting closer and closer to getting my X-type estate to be fully back on the road. 2 episodes ago, we took this out to get inspected, or you can call it MOT, but here we call it besiktiging, but it's an inspection. Failed on 3 parts. Last video we diagnosed them. One of them is really easy, that is the lock for the tow bar. I have a new one ordered, which I hope is the right one. Should arrive in a couple days. We'll find out about that. Tomorrow I can go and pick up a new brake booster that we, or not a new one, but a used one. And in the previous video we diagnosed that that is the issue why the front brakes are locking on. And we also found a cable break in the sensor in the rear for the height level sensor for the headlights. These are xenon headlights. And off camera, I've actually fixed this. Let me show you the fix and let me show you how well all that works now. If you remember from the previous video, I found a break in the cable here. And that cable goes up around there and back to, let me see if you can see that little plastic arm you can see behind there. That is the level sensor for the rear. I found a break here, so I cut it back a bit and I just joined it together. And still, I did not get a signal. So I continued investigating, because after that, this just goes into the body somewhere, or the chassis, and I guess I was going to come up out here behind the rear seat, and I was right. Get time to clean up here as well. And this was the connector. So using a multimeter, I got a signal from this connector to the brake over there, but not a signal from there all the way to the sensor. And this was really, really weird. But what it ended up being was actually a weird thing. So even though I cut it back quite a bit, there was still a bit of oxidation in those cables from being exposed for so long. And because they weren't copper, they're the aluminum kind, or I'm not really sure what kind of cables they were, it was very, very hard to see that there was a bad connection. But one of them I got a bad connection on. I cut that one back even longer, and then I got a signal. And I even have a signal up here now on the headlights. So if you remember this, which this is the most difficult thing in the world to film, the screen, but in the bottom there it says 26.28%. That used to be 100 the whole time. That's the rear axle. And I can also show you that it works by putting a jack underneath the rear here. We'll raise it up and that's going to change. So remember that was like 26 point something now? Well, let's get a jack under here. So you see, rear wheel is up higher now. And that shows 33.3. So if I turn on the headlights now, you can have a look at the XJS over there. They turn on. And it's easiest if I turn them off. We'll let this go down. And then, I mean, this is very hard to see, but have a look up front again. And just as the headlights turn on, you should see them move. Saw that? So everything is working as it should. I've gone through the full motion of the headlights, and they're working as they should, which means that they should be at the correct level and it should be a pass. Really good news there with the headlights. Pretty easy fix, and glad to have that working, because every single other thing on this car works as intended. So it's nice to have, you know, every little option thing working. Next thing is the brakes, but I have to wait until tomorrow when I go and pick up the booster. All right, so it's been a couple days, but we're back here with the X-type. Yesterday, I went to pick up this. There's a brake servo from the parts car. A good friend of mine has a parts car just like this one sitting, which he's picked parts up from years because he has a car just like it as well. That's where I picked up the master for an earlier video. Now we're getting the brake servo. Doesn't look the prettiest in the world because there's been water dripping down on it, but It doesn't seem to have any internal leaks, and hopefully it should work. So I am going to remove the one on the car. However, that's going to be a little bit more involved than removing that one. That took me 10 minutes out in the rain. However, the coolant reservoir needs to be put to the side. We still have master on here. I'm going to bring you guys in for a closer look in a second, but I hope to not have to disconnect that because this was a pain to bleed. Got the battery to get out of the way, and then it's 4 nuts up here, and then it's just one connector in the car, and then it should be out, and then swap in the other one. But let me bring you guys in for a closer look. I'm also trying out a new mic setup, so hopefully that works well, but if the sound isn't perfect in this part of the video, you guys will know why. So I'm going to remove the battery. That's just under here. There's a hole down and all of that. And then this, like we took off in the previous video, is just that bolt there, and then you twist it sideways. It's a really smart sort of bayonet fitting, and that can be moved to the side. The master is just 2 nuts there. And I don't know if you can see, but the lines are hard lines here, and then they're hard lines further down. But halfway up, they're like metal flex lines, sort of like braided fuel lines looking things. So I hope that we can have enough sort of room to maneuver that to the side and be able to get that out. But I will start removing some of these things, and then when we get to sort of the servo, I'll bring you guys back and we'll see how well it goes. Well, so much for hoping I could do this rather quickly. This has taken 5 minutes to get to here, but this will not come off without removing those. Even with the little flexi stuff down there, not a chance. This is as far as I can pull it, and we have a bit to go, and this thing needs to go pretty far. So, guess who's re-bleeding brakes on this favorite car to bleed brakes? Me. Let me crack that off, and then we'll hopefully get the servo out really quickly, and maybe we'll bleed the brakes tonight, or that will be for tomorrow. Work on brakes, they said. It'll be fun. So the good news is that this master is actually mounted from the engine bay and not from under the dash. The only thing you need to do under the dash is there's like a plastic fitting that holds the rod against the brake pedal. Otherwise, it's just 4 13mm nuts back here. And honestly, it's not too bad. The worst part is just bleeding it later. But now I have my new power bleeder, so that should go pretty well. Alright, yeah, they're pretty tight. But I'm going to crack on with these. Just 4 of them. Then we'll show you under the dash what you need to remove there. And then, you know, it should be pretty straightforward. Got the last one here. Yeah. Even though they're pretty tight, once you loosen up just a couple turns, both on this car and on the parts car, I could pretty easily get them off with my fingers. Oh, come on. To mention, I did find you can actually get the brake servo new. Checked a couple places. Out to Dock actually had them for about 450 euros, something like that. So honestly, not too bad. But when you paid like, you know, 550 for the car, yeah, then we're gonna try and not spend that. And a friend of mine was just very kind to let me pick whatever I wanted from that car for free. So that was very, very kind of him. This is going to be a challenge with lighting to show you guys, but I have these panels off here. That one just pulls off, and the one underneath as well. And if we have a look up in here, I don't even know if you guys can see this, but right there, there is a plastic holder. So pry that apart with a screwdriver, and then a little goldy thing that you can see up in there, that's the rod on the end of the brake servo, and then you can just push that straight out. Alright, the clip is off there on the inside. Let's see if I can get this out of here. This was a lot easier on the parts car where a lot of things were already removed. Yes. One brake over removed. So here's the rod where the clip was on. But I'm gonna get the other one, put that in, and hopefully that one works. For those of you who are curious, this is what the little clip looks like. Goes on there and then it locks in right there. But let me slide this into place, hook up the vacuum and everything, and then I guess it's on to bleeding the brakes again. It's the next day. It ended up being late last night, and I decided that since I had such issues with micro bubbles last time bleeding this thing, I filled the reservoir and just let it sit overnight, hoping that bubbles take the easy way out. And so far, I'm on the second wheel, so they're the ones furthest away first over there, and I'm on this one. As you can see, not a single bubble or anything. Hope you guys can see that. It's all going very nicely. I'm taking about, I don't know, a quarter of this bottle per side, and pretty much done. Once I've done the fronts as well, we'll put on the front wheels and everything back here in place, the battery and everything. We'll start it up and make sure that it releases the brakes. Hopefully it does. Otherwise, I actually kind of found something that we might be able to try. This is the massive moment of truth. I've connected the battery back up, and both front wheels, I think, spin freely. I haven't checked actually. Yeah, they both do. So it's time to fire it up. Hit the brake pedal a couple times, keep it running, and see if the wheels hopefully still spin freely. Start by checking how the brake pedal feels before I fire it up. It's a good firm pedal. Still spin freely. And that one still spins freely too. The brakes feel good. Try it one more time. And if I turn it off, see if it, yeah, builds good pressure and holds. I think we may have fixed it, which is great news. Because guess what? I just got a text from the post office that the last thing missing, the new lock for tow bar, has arrived. So I can pick that up tomorrow morning when I drop the kids off at daycare. We'll fit that, and this car should be ready to pass its MOT with no advisories. The last thing to fix on the car is the lock for the detachable tow bar. So it failed because you see here, someone has drilled out the lock. But I picked this one up because it had a sign on it that said it was a Brink one. I couldn't find the information, but apparently they are bought by Thule and they're also fit to pretty much all Volvos. So I got this from the Volvo site. So I'm really hoping that it's going to fit because I couldn't find them from anywhere else. There's that. And it should just slot into place, I guess. Yeah, that works. I actually drove the car this morning. Because it's still road legal, because I have 30 days to fix the issues. Now the brakes are fixed. That's good. So I took the kids to daycare in it, and my daughter seemed to really like the car, so that's nice. So I'm about to go pick them up in about an hour or so, and then I'll take this by the M&T station on the way there. Hopefully get a pass. So let's see if you see? And that works as it should. And now we have a set of keys for it. But the lovely, terrible weather we had a snowstorm last night and then it started raining, so that's great. Let's fit the toolbar here. That click. Is that all the way in? I don't think so. I'm going to need two hands to get this to lock in place. There we go. Locked into place. And the green sign is on there. And now if I grab the keys, I should be able to lock it as well. Hopefully. And there we go. Now I can't open it. And this is really it. And now that works. Perfect. We'll put these in the glove box so we don't lose them. And then everything is actually fixed on the X-type. That is everything fixed on this car. I'm going to go for a retest, and then I'm going to get all the paperwork together, and we're going to see how much it costs to get this thing on the road, because I actually don't really know. So we'll do everything from the clutch to purchase price, everything what the car has cost me right now, but you get to see that in the next video. Anyways, if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Till next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.